Hi, I'm Lisa from Holistic Health by Lisa Moan, and today I'm going to be talking about the glycemic index of foods and how that affects your child's behaviour. So, you might have heard of the glycemic index for foods because it's really useful way for people to manage their weight or to control high blood sugar or diabetes. But it's also really useful to help manage children's behaviour. So when children's behaviour goes up and down and they get very moody or get lots of tantrums, one of the first things that I look at is the glycemic load of the foods that they're eating. Because if a child's blood sugar is going up and down very erratically all day, they're going to have big mood swings. So whenever they eat something, they're going to get a real hyperactivity buzz and just be running around crazy. And then a little while after that, their blood sugar will plummet and their mood will plummet and they'll be hangry, they'll be emotional, they won't be able to focus in school, they'll be dazed and spacey. But the good news is that it's really pretty easy to smooth out this erratic blood sugar and smooth out their moods. So I'll take you through 10 easy tips that you can put into action today to help change your child's mood straight away. So the first thing is breakfast. So you want to stay away from the white toast and Weet-Bix types of breakfast because these foods are very high glycemic index. So if your child eats their breakfast at 7:30, they'll get that initial burst of energy, but by the time they're in the classroom at 9 o'clock, their blood sugar will have plummeted and they'll be difficult for the teacher to manage. They won't be able to focus. They'll be acting out and they could even get very angry by that stage. So you want to have a more substantial breakfast with a lower GI. So great choices are eggs or oats made from rolled oats, not quick cook oats, or even you could try some meat and vegetables for breakfast. So I have a great recipe on my website for breakfast pulled pork, and that's a really substantial breakfast. Your child won't be hungry after that. Now, the next thing that you can do is make sure you have protein and fat every single time the child has a meal, because protein or fat added to a meal will reduce the glycemic index of the food and make it have less of an effect on your blood sugar. So, for instance, if they're having an apple, they could have peanut butter with the apple, or instead of having fruit for a snack, they could have a boiled egg for a snack. Now, my third thing to try is to stay away from highly refined, high carbohydrate, highly processed foods. So I'm talking about things like potato chips, rice cakes, rice crackers. These are really high GI and they will really cause your child's blood sugar to spike and then plummet. So go for healthier choices like seed crackers or a handful of nuts, and they won't spike your child's blood sugar as much. There's also great little packets of chickpeas and fava beans now in the supermarket. So that's a really good snack. It's still in a packet, so it's not perfect, but it's much better than having rice cakes or rice crackers. So my fourth suggestion is around what your child is drinking. So your child only needs water. They don't need anything else, just water. And if you're concerned about making food changes for your child because it's going to have an impact on your budget, this is a great way to recoup some of that money. Because if you're buying your child juice or energy drinks or smoothies or soft drinks, these are all hugely high in sugar and will send your child's blood sugar on a complete roller coaster. So just forget about the beverages except for water. That's all they need and you will save a packet. My fifth suggestion is around dessert. And we do like to give our child dessert at the end of the day because we like to reward them for doing a great job with their dinner or for some achievements they've done during the day. But you just need to make sure that that dessert is not going to come back and bite you on the bum when it's bedtime. So if they're having ice cream for their dessert at 6:30, bedtime at 7:30 is not going to happen. It's going to be too difficult. They're going to be too emotional. So you want to swap the ice cream for something like natural yogurt with some frozen berries. It's still sweet, still delicious, but it's not going to send their blood sugar out of control. Now, if you like rice, rice is not a bad choice. It's pretty good, but brown rice has just a high of GI as white rice, so it can still cause blood sugar issues. So if you have a look now in the rice section in the supermarket, you'll see brown rice, no, black rice and red rice. And these are really great choices because they're lower in GI and they're full of something called polyphenols, which is really good for your gut health. And anything that's good for your gut health is good for your child's behaviour. So have a look and experiment with these rices. They can be good fun to have some different colours on the plate. But if your child is fixated and has to have white rice, go for basmati rice because it's the lowest GI of all the white rices. Number 8, it's very sad to say, but potatoes are very high in GI. So if you're having a lot of mashed potatoes or boiled potatoes or chips, that's going to be very difficult to manage from a blood sugar point of view. But what you can do is you can cook the potatoes, let them cool down and serve them the next day as a potato salad. Because when they cool down, they actually get more difficult to digest, which means the GI is less. So you can pop those in a lunchbox instead of a sandwich, some cold potato salad. It's really delicious and it's lower GI than just having potatoes. Beans or pulses, as they're sometimes called, or legumes, are a really good choice to have as a carbohydrate to bulk up your meals because, of course, people use rice and pasta and everything to bulk up meals to bring down the overall cost of the meal and to fill up their children. But you can also do that with pulses and it works out really cheaply. So you just buy them in bulk, dry, and then you soak them for 24 hours and then boil them up, and that's how you eat them. So this is the cheapest food that you can get. This is pretty much eating for free because the beans are so cheap to start off with and they go so far because you buy them dried. So instead of having mashed potatoes, you could have a cannellini bean mash, or if you've made a curry, you could serve it with a dal made from lentils instead of with rice. Or if you're having Mexican, serve it with black beans instead of rice. There's loads of ways that you can incorporate pulses into your diet. They're really low GI, they're a source of protein, and they're really high in fibre. So they're great. And last but not least, we can't end without talking about lollies and chocolate and cakes. So if your child has issues with mood, with emotional regulation, with tantrums, with behaviour at school, with focus, with irritability, you need to cut out the lollies and the chocolate because they are just sending your child's blood sugar out of control. So really cut those back to an absolute bare minimum and you'll see benefits straight away. Okay, thank you for listening.